Cronin.
Welcome to Juice in the Morning, episode 62. Welcome back to one of my favorite people to talk to, one of my favorite people to go see movies with, watch TV with, talk about it over the phone with, and frankly, one of my best friends.
Aww.
Thanks for coming back to the show, Mom.
Thank you for having me.
This is Robin. She gave birth to me 30 years ago and a day right now. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I wanted to kind of talk to you about, well, first of all, thanks for making the margaritas. Thanks for bringing the fish for the fish tacos. That was awesome. You grilled those for me because I was doing a podcast with my friend Cam, and I almost pulled this thing right off the table. But you were helping me cook the birthday dinner, so I want to appreciate that and tell you thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
So what kind of fish was it? Because
tilapia. I wanted to get something different. I wanted to get like halibut or something like that, but they just had tilapia at Marsh, so I grabbed that.
I actually think tilapia is pretty good. I think it's one of my favorites. In the fish world, I feel like it doesn't taste as fishy as some of the stuff that I remember eating as a kid, but I think that was because of the lemon juice.
Well, and I didn't really buy any classy fish when you were a little kid. There were a lot of fish sticks happening, which is mostly breading and possibly some kind of fish conglomerate in there.
So like
somewhere.
Garbage fish. That's what they get done with, like
the truly fishy fish.
Scraping the barrel. But so the very first thing that we were wanting to talk about or get into, because I had sent you a text and asking you kind of like what are the topics that you kind of wanted to cover, because I always am way more interested and more, I think, involved in a podcast when the person I'm talking to kind of comes with their own subjects. So one of the things that you had mentioned was, being a mom early. So how did you feel about at the time? How was it? Because nowadays when you are, they're kind of glorifying the teen mom thing with the TV shows, the reality TV shows and things like that. And it's kind of, I think, perpetuating that it's kind of getting it out there that it's a glorified thing and that everybody can do it and everybody is just, really good at being able to raise a kid no matter how old they are. Mm-hmm. So what was the mindset of people around you back then as opposed to now? And I'm not trying to get too deep. If it's too serious of a subject, we don't have to talk about it. But how was it received by the people in that time frame? Because I know that was 30 years ago. It was my birthday yesterday. So how was it back then compared to now?
Well, back then, there was still a certain amount of people that kind of thought that you should still disappear when it happened and either give the baby up for adoption. When you're a teenager, you think, I can really remember sitting and telling your grandpa that I had it all under control. Yeah. That I had a job and I was going to be fine. And I think I was getting like $5.25 an hour at the job where I worked at the time.
Where were you working?
I worked actually for an attorney in town. I did half days my senior year of high school and then ended up going from there to working at an ice cream store in town. Same family. And they were really awesome. But I think that having a teenage senior in high school, starting to show pregnant, working at your front desk probably wasn't the best that they had.
What's interesting about that though is nowadays I don't think people would be as adamant to not have them at their front desk. I don't think they would be.
I think you see, and I think it always happened that families stepped in and helped. And my family certainly helped me. They gave me a period of time. I had to go to work right away, and my expectation. things got really real really fast.
Yeah.
And it was never my expectation that anybody was going to take care of me. But the reality of taking care of myself was pretty shocking because, I tried to go straight from high school into college and, was trying to just keep everything going. And I got some help from your grandpa and from your Aunt Laura and Uncle Kevin. And the thing is people try to help you, but it's a matter of getting yourself established. You're not making the best decisions. You're still pretty selfish at that age, so you're trying to make something work because, I was crazy about you and I wanted to do everything the right way. I wanted you to have everything that you should have, but you realize that you can't.
Yeah.
And you just physically can't do those things. And the idea of, I knew a lot of things. They taught us a lot of things in school as far as about health insurance and balancing a checkbook,
which is also what, not to interrupt you, but I don't think that they do that as much as they did maybe for your age, because I don't remember really learning about that kind of stuff.
Well, a lot of it came from home too.
Yeah.
Grandpa was good about teaching it, but I did not learn enough. I mean, I don't think you can teach your kids enough about money and how to handle it and how much things cost. And it's a weird balance because you don't really want to tell your kids what your house payment is or what you're making, because they're so smart these days. They'll start telling you, well, if you did it this way, you could probably get me more of what I'd like to.
You're going to start breaking down your Roth IRA.
Exactly. Let's look at that budget, because I really think we could get a lot more in the entertainment column.
Yeah, we need a little bit more, like 5% towards this one.
So it's a tough balance, because you do want them to understand that things aren't disposable. Everything's not replaceable. You can't just, break things and go get something and replace it. And, it was different with you. I mean, I lived in an efficiency apartment in the top of a house. I rented that. I mean, I lived several different places. We moved around quite a bit, just trying to maintain. And, I would go, there was a special on Monday night at the Chinese restaurant, and I would go get dinner, and you and I ate that for 3 days. Today,
I still really thoroughly enjoy the Chinese food.
Today I could sit down and mow through an entire serving all in at once. But
well, yesterday that's what we did. Jen and I went to I told her, I was like, I want to go to the buffet, but I because we usually order Chinese food, but I was like, I want to go like to the buffet, like what we used to do in Fort Wayne, where we would go to the buffet, like pile all the stuff into your to-go container and then put it on the scale. And I was like, because I don't really want to eat there, and I'm tired. I worked a long day, but I do want to go get and pick everything out that I want, because whenever you order stuff, I feel like I get mad because I don't get necessarily as much as I want of each thing. Like crab rangoon, I gotta have like 13 of those. Like, not the order of 4 or 8 that they give you in the package. So the another deeper question that I wanted to get into was, did I stop you from doing anything that you planned on doing? Like by having me, did that stop you from achieving like a dream or a goal that you were going for at that time? And I know that we've talked and like you feel very like I'm a great thing in your life and things like that. But was there something that maybe that you got stopped from doing that you wanted to do?
Honestly, I think that having you, I think I was just kind of a lump of clay. I don't remember in high school. I mean, I know I love the horses. Mm-hmm. I didn't really think about, I didn't really have a plan. I had this overall kind of idea that I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was younger. But no real clear-cut plan. So I think in a lot of ways, having you kind of helped me with a sense of direction. I mean, nothing gives you a sense of direction.
like being put on a forced path of direction?
Kind of like that. But,
I've been there, don't worry, in a different capacity, but I've been there.
But it, I guess, yeah, there were things that I would have liked to have done, but I don't really remember anybody talking to me about, going to college or things that I would experience in school, or, I didn't really think about that kind of stuff. So when a lot of my friends left for school and they were participating in sororities and going to school dances and that kind of thing, and continuing to go on spring break, that wasn't anything that was really, most of my siblings were older. My closest did not do a traditional 4-year school program, so I didn't see that as really something to look forward to or to plan for. So, there was that, and I kind of drifted around, and I did go on a spring break with one of my friends who was in college, and that was really uncomfortable because you're with a bunch of people who are just living a completely different lifestyle, because I actually had my first job working at the hand center before fall after graduating. I had probably within 3-4 weeks of having you, I had that job.
That's
maybe
impressive.
A little bit more, because you were in the hospital for almost a month. And but it was not too long after that, and I moved down and was living with your aunt and uncle and working at the hand center. And it was different because I was working with a lot of people who were in their 30s and 40s, and so I was. So
do you think it helped you maybe grow up faster, or do you think you still had the young at heart mind?
Well, I always was young at heart, and everybody in the family was really good. Like, once I got to be, around the time I was 21, I felt like they kind of gave me a period of time where they helped watch you and kind of let me stretch my legs a little bit and do some things. And then I kind of felt like after about, and it may have been longer, but after about 6 months to a year, I kind of felt like it was done. Everybody was like, okay, that's good. You've had your time, and now it's time to get down to business. People.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just thinking of everybody in our family, and I feel like, did they ever have that specific conversation with you?
Nope. Okay. Nobody answered their phone anymore, and suddenly, and too, like,
I love all of you guys, but I just feel like that we do passive aggressiveness a little too much, and I think
it's more like you've said it before, and it's not even just our family, but like the herd behavior thing. I mean, people just kind of expect you to either join up or they're not going to accept your behavior.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt like people stopped answering their phone, and honestly, I recognized that after a while, I was never calling to just say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It was always, hey, what are you doing this weekend? No reason. So you don't have any plans?
No, but I remember as this may not be the same time frame, but I just remember really having a good time with like the cousins in the family. Like I was like always excited to go places.
You always wanted to go places, period.
I just loved it. And I think that's still something that just was hardwired into me. Well,
and that was hard for me as a mom, because I struggled with, I was always afraid for a long time. I was afraid that you were going to, like being at Aunt Jean's more, and you weren't going to want to come home, but we reached a certain point in time. I mean, you and I were tight. Mm-hmm. And so,
we always have been. We had a little bit of rough time in high school, but I think that was just me trying to get away.
Yeah.
But once again, it's just because I want to go do my own thing. Mm-hmm. I as much of a social person as I am and like to be around groups of people, I also like to be on my own a lot. Mm-hmm. That's why I think Jen and I have a really good relationship, and I think the working different shifts actually is a good thing, because I do get my times where I'm just like on my own. I might be doing chores or something that she asked me to do, but I'm by myself, I'm listening to my podcast, or I'm listening to music, or I'm playing video games, or doing something, reading, that I chose to do that. I'm not being really distracted by anything else. And I like to I live in my own head a lot about a lot of stuff. And I think that it's a good thing that to have those times, but then it's also great that we spend so much time together, because then I get myself out of that like space where I'm just like always thinking, like, I think really deeply about a lot of stuff that's like, it's almost a weird thing sometimes, because I'll sit there and I'll like catch myself like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you 30 minutes into this thought on, for example, I was like thinking the other day, I was driving home and this person cut me off, and they had a lot of bumper stickers on their car. And once again, I'm going to say it's the Juice Deep Thought of the Week. I saw their bumper stickers, they cut me off, and then I just started thinking, like, so I'm going to start, I think that it's a bumper stick, like how many bumper stickers are on your car directly relates to how good of a driver you are. So if you have a lot of bumper stickers, it's usually a shitty car that's been dented on the sides, maybe a broken tail light, broken headlight. And I think that it's because they're the kind of people that if they're going to slap some bumper stickers on their car, they're not going to pay attention to anything around them. They're so like, just like, oh, I'm just going to drive, like, and they're just driving and not paying attention to anything. And
I think it's in direct correlation to how much pot they've been smoking.
Exactly.
That's a great sticker. I need that on my car.
Exactly. So, and then
I need to look at some cat videos while I'm driving.
Exactly. Or they need to, like, they need to get their roach clip and like clip it onto something because they just got done smoking their roach. But then I also started going in the opposite direction. This is where I'm saying I think about stuff too much. And then I'm like, NASCAR drivers, lots of stickers on their car. They're probably pretty good drivers. So it's like I'm thinking of it in like mathematical terms as like
I'm a very good driver.
This is like this like little what is it, bell curve, because lots of stickers, bad driver, and then down at the bottom here, like a million stickers, NASCAR driver, pretty good driver. So once again, though, I get myself caught into those moments where I like sit back and I think I've been thinking about this for about 20 minutes and just I need to get into something else because that's terrible. So the next thing that I wanted to get into,
I might be struggling with my tequila.
It's okay.
Okay.
What we're going to transition into. So ultimately, I was the best thing that ever happened to you, right?
The first best thing.
No, I just wanted a better transition, so I think that's good. But some listeners have shared some of their voicemails with us, so I'm going to start off with Joe Leatherman. You can come back. I think it's picking up on this one, don't But yeah, so some listeners have shared some voicemails with us. So this is the Juice in the Morning voicemails. I apologize. I just thought about this. The Facebook Live people aren't going to be able to hear it, so we'll just kind of like.
Oh, they can't?
No, because what they're hearing is the audio from the iPad. So they're not actually hearing this audio. So we're going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll answer it, and I'll kind of give you guys a rundown of what it was. So
I'll do it. I'll sign it.
I wish I knew how to do that.
What is up, Juice? This is Joe Leatherman, longtime listener, first-time caller. For my deep thought, I wanted to talk about holding on to things and where is the line before it's unhealthy. And what I mean by this is a lot of my close friends know that I keep just about everything. In fact, I moved recently, and my friends got to see all the obscure, arbitrary, and just plain weird items and mementos that I keep, from all kinds of writings, ticket stubs, wristbands, to traffic cones, public no swimming signs, and the infamous metal pole and rope that cordoned off an entire parking lot entrance downtown. I keep these things from all eras of my life because each item has a memory or a story attached to it. As a writer, this is very important to me. I want to remember those times and tell those stories. So where's the line? What's socially acceptable and what's just being a pack rat? And if people understood why I do it, would that move the line? Or maybe some things, because of their nature and memory, I should let go of. Thanks so much, Juice. Much love, brother.
So that was Joseph Leatherman. Thank you for sharing your voicemail with us, buddy. You were talking about holding on to mementos, things that have meaningful or meaningfulness to you. Something like such as a traffic cone that would have a story behind it, and you hold on to that stuff and you hold it really close to yourself. So I want to kind of hear what you think about that, Mom.
Well, okay, so some of it sounds illegal.
Well, that's okay though. I mean, we all have some
That's
of that
okay.
stuff.
We're gonna just let that go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay with that.
All right.
Past the statute of limitations.
Okay.
I say that a lot on here.
Okay. I think that asking the question makes you feel like maybe a person thinks that maybe they might have a little too much of something in my mind.
Yeah.
And for me, I find that clutter grows in my life when I'm feeling a little stuck. And it's like the more clutter, and it's like a vicious cycle. The more clutter I have, the more stuck I feel. And the more stuck I feel, the harder it is for me to get rid of things. And I don't really think about the sentimental value of things until I start going through them to think about getting rid of things. And then that's when you have that time where you go to clean your house or something and you find yourself in a bigger mess than you were to start with, because you start going through things and it's like, oh, I can't get rid of this because I remember this from, when the kids were little. And, but, I don't know. It's
so what do you determine?
What do you
determine as something that you would keep? Something that you would have to keep?
I still have the helium balloon that says it's a boy from when you were born, and I'm in a box.
So why do you keep that instead of just tossing that?
Because it's a memory.
Yeah.
I try to put things into containers and boxes and whatever. I do recognize that. And it's something, actually, I was wanting to kind of bring some of that to you and wish I would have gotten it together this evening and brought it over.
That's okay. We've got time.
We do. But, it's something that you want to do. Grandpa has brought some things back to me that it's cool to see. Old report cards and...
Would it be going too far to say, to give, from my perspective to Joe, is a... advice, and this may not even be advice, this is just what I think. If it's something that like really truly means a lot to you and it's a positive thing, I would say maybe go ahead and keep it. If it's something that you're holding on to that is associated with something negative, such as like maybe it's you created that memory with somebody that you aren't around anymore, or you don't associate it with anymore, or they chose to go on with their life or something like that, I would definitely think about just getting rid of that. I would toss that, because if it holds memory for you, but it's connected to something negative, then you're just holding yourself down.
Well, and memories aren't in things. And if you have so many things, you don't even see them to experience those memories that long.
Yeah.
So if you can call it up in your head, then it's always going to be with you. I think sometimes the fear is that if you get rid of that object, then you won't remember the experience.
And I think that I agree with you on that too. And I also, he said it was very important because he's a writer. Well, and I think that if he can write down those stories or use those stories as inspiration for something else, then you're kind of intrinsically keeping that memory already. You're just doing that. Like it's stuck in there. So it's not going anywhere.
Grandpa might be a good person, actually, an interesting person for him to talk to because of him writing his memoirs recently. And I know he has just so many things that I didn't realize he had saved from his past and from my past. And, I'm hoping I know that I'm not as good of a historian as he is.
Yeah.
I don't have those specific memories, and maybe people who have that drive have that in them. I am more of an experience-driven person.
And I think that's where I kind of get that from you as well, because, if you guys looked around my house, I don't have anything that's past 2008.
You do a way better job of that than I do.
But it's not, I don't think that's, and I was even talking to you about this earlier, is I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing, but I also don't hold any attachment to almost anything, like
you never have,
with sentimental value. Like I don't look at, like I have what's funny is I have a box of stuff that somehow has made it through, and I almost wonder if, like, I don't know how I held on to that, but I've like thought about just tossing that, because I'm like,
what's in it?
It's just got pictures from high school, like literally, like I think my junior and senior year, and that's it. That's all the stuff that's in there. It's not like most people that have like a memory box, it's like from 6th or 7th grade through college. Like Jen has her stuff that she has that are like her mementos from like a long period.
Well, rest assured, I still have your varsity jacket, and I have
that I never managed to get all the patches for, even though
they existed,
even though I had a lot of them.
They're out there somewhere. But yeah, I have that. I have news articles from football. I have your trophies from forever.
I think what I think's different too is I think that when I have kids, I will keep that stuff. Like I won't keep it for me, but I'll keep it for them.
Which is kind of what a lot of people do. And I think that the people that keep those mementos I think it's a smaller percentage than the people who don't.
Okay. So, Joe, my advice is if it's tied to a negative memory, get rid of it. With the positive memories, I say do what you will, do what you want to do. I think also make sure you use those things to inspire your writing. And I think that you have a lot of talent in that world, and I think that you need to just keep chasing it. He's also the one that I talked to recently on my podcast 2 episodes ago, I think, 3 episodes ago. And he's wanting to start his own podcast and things like that. And I'm trying to get him to move down to Indy so that he can use my equipment in the time being until he gets his own. So I'm trying to get him to do that. So, once again, good memory, keep it. Bad memory, burn it if you want.
I say if you feel like it's weighing you down, take a picture of it and get rid of it.
There you go.
Catalog your memories.
There you go. And then this second one, I don't think we really have to spend a whole lot of time talking about, but I feel like I need to include it. It is from one of my friends from college that was in the same dorm as me. It's actually kind of entertaining, I think, because basically she just called me old.
Was this the old people dorm?
Hey, Justin, Bobby Kelly. I just wanted to call and wish you a happy 30th birthday. Holy cow, you're getting old. All right, have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, Michelle, for just basically telling everybody that I'm getting old. I don't think that I'm getting old. I think that I feel better now than I did when I was 25. I think I'm in better shape. I think I'm doing more stuff with my life than what I was doing at the time. I think I was kind of floundering around trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I think that I met Jen around that time. So, I think that 30 is way better than early 20s right now, is all I'm saying. I think it's 10 times better, if not more than that. So, I am getting older, but I don't feel old. So how did you feel when you turned 30?
I didn't
notice, did you?
No, I didn't really. And I don't really, the biggest thing I think, and we talked earlier, is just taking care of yourself and making sure that you can do the things that you want to do. And that's something that, that stuff starts creeping up on you a little bit, and you have to work a little bit harder to have the function to do the things that you want to do. And I mean, now I don't, I will hear somebody's birthday and find out how old they are, and I think, wow, That's how old I am. That's my demographic. I think there's no way that's possible.
Well,
but...
and I'll see like marketing, programs and stuff, and they ask you your age range, and I'm like, I just started realizing it's going to be, instead of 25 to 30, it's 30 to whatever that is, 30 to 40. So I just thought about that. But thanks, Michelle, for sharing your voicemail. This next one is from Ernie Bentley. He is the host of the podcast Junk and Stuff. So let's go ahead and hear from Ernie Bentley. What do you think, Mom?
Do you have his number?
I can get it for you.
Okay.
Hey, Justin. It's Ernie Bentley from Junk and Stuff with Ernie Bentley. And I heard you were talking about relationships, especially in the olden days. And I just, I figured I could help you out with that a little bit. But back in my day, if you went on a date, you married her. So you would find somebody that you thought was really good looking, and you would get their telephone number. We didn't have the Timber, so we would get their number, and then you call them and pick them up and take them on a date. We never Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know. I hope that helps you out at all. It's good talking to you. Thanks for having me. Bye.
So that was Ernie Bentley from Junk and Stuff. He's friends. I don't know if it's necessarily friends, but he is associated with the guys from Pointless Discussions. So I was on their podcast recently. So Ernie decided to grace this podcast with his presence. So what you were talking about, hanging up the phone. So that would have been a really good sound effect to have at the end of Ernie Bentley's
We don't have
phone
the
call.
satisfaction of that anymore.
Yeah, we're just frantically pressing the end button.
Yeah.
And I think it's developed to, you're trying to press the end button before the other person if you're really mad. So I think that's like kind of the equivalent, but it doesn't.
And you can't even tell because with dropped calls anymore. It's like, oh, I didn't hang up on you.
Not to be mean, Mom, I think you're the only person I get dropped calls with. Like literally, it might just be that we have longer conversations on the phone, so there's more of a chance. But I don't know how it happens, but I feel like with you it does.
Really?
Yeah, and I feel like with other people. But I also, like I said, back to the beginning of it, I think you and I talk on the phone when you're driving or when I'm driving, and it's a longer conversation, so there's a better opportunity for there to be a drop call. Most of the time when I call people, I'm like, hey, you there? Yeah? All right, I'll be right there.
Right.
Like it's just like really quick and over really fast. So
We break it down.
And so with Ernie Bentley, he brought up Timber. It's not Timber, it's actually Tinder. How do you feel about online dating? Because I know that you also brought up a topic of dating like through like the Match.com and online dating and stuff like that. So kind of give me some thoughts about that and how you feel about it. Because I'll give you my thoughts on it, even though I've never used it.
Really?
I'll give you my thoughts
Really?
on
Do I want to hear your thoughts first?
No, let's hear yours.
Well, I haven't ever tried Tinder or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I don't. I'm glad that you said that because I don't want to know that you're using.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to.
I just don't want to know. You may not want to know anything,
I
actually.
don't want to know if you're using Tinder. From what I've heard, because I obviously don't have any of those. I'm married. I don't use Tinder, or I've heard there's Tinder and
good.
I've heard there's Tinder and Bumble.
Mm-hmm. There's
those-
like Coffee Meets Bagel, and.
But those are the two that are the like. I think they're not really trying to find relationships. They're just.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
They're just trying to hook up.
I think that people are throwing a huge net. Really big net.
The shotgun
And they're
approach
just-
is what I've heard.
They're just hoping.
You're just shooting everywhere, hoping something will stick.
That's right. And because, you'll see on their dating profile, that they're looking for a serious relationship, casual relationship, friendship, pen pal. I mean, and they'll check all
Any
of them.
kind of interaction at all.
Please talk to me.
Please, if you want to actually send a message in a bottle, I might sit by the side of the ocean and wait for it to
Shut
get
up,
to it.
married person. That's funny.
I'm sorry.
No, but I do. I think that, I think a lot of people are looking for different things. I mean, it seems like there are a lot of people looking for someone to date. And I think people are looking for different things.
Well, and not to interrupt you, but I think that it's good because it's giving a lot of people a lot of avenues to meet other people. But then I also think that it's the same effect that social media is having on us as humans is like, it's expanding stuff, but it's also, I think, shrinking your world down to like a smaller level.
How
and
so?
It's because you are portraying your life and how you're portraying like a false self, and then you're keeping all of like the stuff that is like really personal and that you don't want to share with people to yourself. So it's almost keeping you in a smaller little box. And I don't think that that's
It's
you because I think
possible.
that you're a very social person. I'm talking about
Well, but
I'm
it's
talking
been
about
a
people.
process.
I'm talking about people that are using this because they have no other means of meeting people.
Well, and it's hard to meet people. And I would say that it's been a big process because I think if finding someone becomes your main purpose and your main goal, and you're separating yourself away from your social support and your friends, then you start the problem of comparing yourself to people on social media or looking at Facebook and thinking, oh my God, all these people have all of their stuff together and I'm awful.
we have too much access to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you if you didn't have access to see somebody else's what they had, you wouldn't have any envy over it.
Right.
I mean, you might if you lived next to them or lived nearby
Right.
them and they had something going on. But like I said, I think that that's also like putting us into that mode where we're like, man, I wish I had that, or I wish that was going on for me, or how the hell do they do that?
And you set up unreasonable expectations, but I think if you can get to a point where you build your social network so that you have people to do things with, and so it's less important for you to find someone right now, and you can think about finding someone who's maybe a better fit for you, or and you have that social network of people that you can spend time with and do things with, then I think you make better choices. It's easier to look through someone's profile, and it's really weird. You get into this period where you get into this clarity and you can see things in the stuff that people write that you didn't see before. Or,
I like long walks on the beach.
so does everybody. It's like everyone. I'm happy in a little black dress, as happy as I am in a pair of sweatpants, watching TV. It's like, okay.
No,
not that
bullshit.
I'm looking at those profiles, because those are women.
I'm calling your bullshit on that one. I like wearing my basketball shorts and my shirt off on the couch.
But everybody likes long walks, and
So then, I think as
early
as,
on,
as
I think
somebody,
when you start
as
figuring it
somebody
out,
speaking on this, do you want to tell people out there that they just need to be fucking honest?
they need to be honest, not just with people. They need to be honest with them, like other people. They need to be honest with themselves, and they also you have to go through, I think, a period, and I'm speaking only for myself because I don't know about other people, how they feel, but I had to go through a process of just figuring out, who I really am and what I really want. And I kind of feel like I'm there now, and I feel like if I do find somebody, great. If I don't, I'd rather find someone that is the kind of person I want to spend time with.
So that literally
than be
leads
with
me
someone.
into the next thing that I wanted to ask you is and this is just me being interested in, and I know that we talk about this stuff on a regular basis anyways, but we're recording it now. If you do meet somebody that you want to be around more, do you feel like they have to have the same interests as you, or do you think that they have to have interests that are kind of their own that you might be interested in, or do you think you guys should just have separate interests and you still enjoy spending time around each other? Because
ultimately, I think for me, it would be nice for someone to have interests, whether they're the same as mine or different from mine, just that they have some things that they get excited about or they're passionate about. I think I wouldn't want to be completely separate and have someone that only wants to do what they want to do and they don't want to join or appreciate anything that I want to do. But a happy medium and just an appreciation for what you both bring to the relationship.
Both are into as well, and I think that I think it's good that Jen at least allows me to do this stuff. She won't be on the show, and
which is unfortunate.
I'm okay with it. I think it would be great to have her. She is somebody that talks about how bad she is or how nervous she is about interviews, but she'll talk about, how much she didn't want to do the Adam Carolla Skype interview, and then she did better than I did. So I think that it's something that she could be good at, and that I think that she would enjoy if she did it. It's never good hearing your own voice on a recording, though. It's not great. But I think having exactly what you said, which is even if you guys don't have the same interests, being involved, or like if somebody said, hey, let's go, can we do this weekend? Like, I know that you may not be into it, and then that person just having the enthusiasm to just go ahead and try it. Or, even if they want to give you a hard time about it, but they're joking about it, but it's not like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they do it because then it's not fun. But Jen will ask me to do stuff all the time, and I'll be like, no, screw that. That's stupid. And then I'll be like, no, I'm just kidding. Let's go. Let's have fun. And
you guys seem to do a lot of things together and enjoy each other's company. I actually kind of envy your relationship. I've told you that a lot. I think you guys, nothing is ever perfect, and rainbows and lollipops all the time.
We definitely have our own struggles. We definitely have our own. But the other thing that I thought about too, since you have me and my little brother and sister, does it matter to you if they have kids or not? If
this is gonna really make me look bad.
Why?
I think it
doesn't make you look bad.
I would think it would be great. I think that.
What if they had the exact same? Like they had a kid my age,
right?
And then
that'd be awesome.
A kid like 15 years from that kid.
You know what? I think it's great if they have kids, or if they don't, if they have grandkids. As long as there is an acceptance and a feeling of family between all of you, and it's not always going to be perfect, and, you're going to have difficulties, but just the acceptance that they're part of this person that you love. And so you as an extension of that, you love them too. And, when you're in a position to choose, I think if there's a lot of difficult issues going on, I think, just like with me.
Well, luckily you don't
have
to worry about anything from me.
Right.
You don't even have to tell them about me because I'm not even there.
And my kids are awesome kids, but there are always going to be issues with fighting and them not liking the fact that there's somebody there that's not their parent or part of their family or whatever, possibly telling them what they should or shouldn't do. And so there are a lot of those.
I'm going to tell them to suck it up because I know what it's like.
even so, I think
I'm just kidding.
I think it's really hard blending families together like that. So ultimately, no, it doesn't matter as long as you have the right attitude. But I mean, whether it's kids or dogs and cats and, you know, because I'm dogged up.
Those dudes better not have any cats.
Well, and I've got
Not like 17, all right?
yeah, not 17, but I've got a cat, you know. So, yeah,
So
it's a lot.
I know that I talked with Jen because I think she has a better idea of like your occupation than I do. But you're kind of like a director. Is that what?
I'm a manager of.
And that kind of leads to the next thing. Like, does it when you're maybe going on a site or like talking with somebody, does it ever bother them if you are, or does it bother you if you are maybe if you were working a job that you know you're doing significantly better than the other person? And I know that's a weird question, but like,
I'm not sure I follow you.
so like, so you're a manager, say they are a landscaping professional at a golf course, and they're probably not at the same level income-wise or the same level in life as you are.
Are we talking about dating somebody?
Yeah, like if you were to date somebody.
No, as long as they are happy with what they do and able to take care of themselves and, you know, have a good attitude about it, you know,
Yeah.
and I think it would be hard for me I am incredibly competitive and driven, and
So then I don't think that would work out because I'm thinking like my first thought is like if you are, I mean, you are competitive, you're at the level you are, and I feel like are similar to me because I've learned it from you, is that you're chasing the bigger picture and the better thing. And if somebody was working a job and they were just happy with it and just happy with life and just chilling, I don't think you would be too happy with that.
I actually think if they're happy with what they do and that's their dream job, you know, and they're able to support themselves and you know have come up with a way to do that successfully, you know, that's different than somebody who, you know, maybe can't hold down a job or you know, or I don't know. I mean, I'm going to sound really bad. I'm just trying to not say
You're not sounding bad.
But
and don't worry,
I
I'm
think-
pretty sure that anybody that you might be interested in does not listen. I hope so one day that I'll get a lot of people to listen, but we only get a select few right now.
Like I said, if people are happy with what they do, they you know, have goals, they, you know, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary thing, you know, that they're working toward. I mean, obviously it's nice when you have money to spend.
Like, for example, this is a goal of mine. Not
And it's a
making any money.
passion.
Not making any money from it, but I want
it's
to.
a passion, and
Yeah.
you're working hard at it, and I have a lot of respect for that. It bothers me sometimes when people maybe don't make as much money as someone else, and they kind of have a chip on their shoulder about it. Mm-hmm. That bothers me.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Well, then that's obviously going to be the first thing that you're like, sorry.
Yeah. I
Go
just
ahead.
want somebody to be happy with what they
Well,
they
you're in
do.
luck. I brought somebody. You're going to sit down and they're going to talk, and I'm just going to leave, and you guys are going to finish this podcast out right now. No, I'm kidding. But that would have been awesome.
I could do that.
That would have been great. But I don't. So the bottom line is you gotta be yourself, and you have to be happy with what you're doing. I think that also I don't know if you said it explicitly, but you did say, or I think that you kind of led in a direction of you can't be trying too hard to find something, because if you're trying too hard to find something, it makes it difficult to see the things that are around you already.
Well, I think that if, you know, you need to know why you're looking for what you're looking for. You know, you need to know what you're looking for and what it is you want. Because if you're just looking for someone to just to fill a space, just to be there with you.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you're not very selective, I guess.
Yeah. So, final thought about this whole podcast, because we talked about a few different things. What would you say your final thought is on this, and what you would like to tell people out there listening or watching?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I guess probably it's pretty sappy. I enjoy the fact that we can talk about this kind of thing and talk about all the things that we talk about.
And I've told people that I think that this is I've talked to you. This is private conversation, but I'm just going to share it because I think it's good anyways.
Private, but I'm going to share it with everybody.
Because I think it's good. I think and I've told people this on the podcast before, so it's not like it's anything super new. The new part is I've talked to you because I think I've listened to a lot of shows that they tell everybody, go to therapy, talk to somebody about it, talk to this and talk to this person about this. And I think that almost doing this is kind of almost a form of that, because I can kind of talk to people and listen to how they think about stuff. And then I can kind of like throw some of my ideas out there, and then I don't have to like actually go to somebody and pay them to give them my problems or talk about the deep weird stuff that I think about on a
I think it's different
basis.
for everybody, though. Some people need somebody to talk to that's not connected to, because you and I are different. We talk about stuff and we're comfortable with it. And, some people aren't comfortable with talking to people that are close to them or close to the situation, and they need someone to kind of help them sort through. And, I certainly have used therapy at certain times just to kind of figure out a way to deal with things when, sometimes you don't want to talk about it to the people closest to you because you want a completely
different perspective,
and somebody who's not vested, who is going to give
has
you
no emotion,
an honest opinion.
Well, just talk to me most of the time because I don't have a lot of emotion.
Whatever.
I've been told by Jen that I'm very emotionless. But
Oh, really?
I think
It
it's,
depends on the time. I mean, because that probably comes from me a little bit too, because even your brother and sister will get really frustrated with me because when things, and I don't know if it's from working in the ER or if I've always been this way, but when things just go to hell in a handbasket is usually when I get really calm, and the kids are like, why do you do that?
when I got shot and I called you, hey Mom, I don't want to freak you out or anything. Nick just shot me. We're on the way to the hospital. I'll be right there. And then you just hung up the phone. And I was like, all right, she'll be there. We're good. Let's get there.
Well, that is, well, I mean, it was the same way, and we're going on here, but when you were born, actually, I know your Aunt Jean she got really frustrated with me because I think I was so stressed out that I couldn't connect with anything. And she thought that, and honestly at the time, I mean, it was all too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a thought and then all of a sudden you were there. And we had some issues with you being in the NICU and having to be on the ventilator.
I was trying to get out of here before I even got here.
You were always ready
to go.
But I know she got really frustrated with me then because I go, I think we have a lot of emotion. I just think we take it inside.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I
deal with a lot of things.
I put everything in until I'm ready to explode. So that's what I do.
That's healthy. You don't need therapy. You're totally right about that.
So we're telling you guys out there, if you need somebody to talk to them, because they may not have the same dog in the fight that you have. from me, I just want to say thank you for being on the show again.
You're welcome.
I know that it's probably not the most exciting thing for you to do, or not. I don't want to say exciting. It might not feel the most comfortable, but
I don't feel uncomfortable.
good. Well, that's good, because like a lot of people that I've talked to have said like that at first that they feel uncomfortable. So I'm glad that you don't, and we'll maybe start getting something more consistent going where I will get you on here every few months or something.
Super.
And to those of you watching, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not going to read your comments today like I normally do, but I will definitely review them and talk back to you guys. So you can always find the show on Twitter at Juice in the AM, spelled just like it sounds. You can search Facebook and just type Juice in the Morning, and it'll pop up. It's one of the first things. Do you have anything that you would like to promote?
I don't. Just me.
This one right here. Mom is awesome. It's Robin. What do you go by on your match and like, or not match?
No, we don't need to talk about that.
Well, do you have a screen name?
I don't. I actually, that's a whole nother segment. I
Okay.
actually signed up by accident.
Well, it's
For it.
it's Robin. It's Robin on Facebook. You can find her in My Family. She's my mom if you want to look her up.
Because you know you want to find me.
Exactly. And also, the Instagram I'm using a lot more. It's also Juice in the AM as well. And I look forward to doing more stuff with some of the people that I talk to. If you get a chance to download the Smugcast, it's a couple of guys in Greenwood that are located near me that I was a guest on their show. So go ahead and check them out. Also download Pointless Discussions. They are a podcast that I also worked with, and they are putting together a live show that we're going to try to get me on. So we're going to keep working on
All
that
right.
stuff. We're going to keep trying to do this. I mean, I want to be famous. I've talked about it a lot. So we're going for it. We're trying. We're trying, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you for listening again, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Juice in the morning.